actually check out the Insomnia's expansion spot again. There was again a peon by Ciara. So, well, actually in this case it was kind of bad because Insomnia's hero got to level 5, but then again it was again like also a kind of psychological thing, so that Insomnia knows that Ciara knows that he was checking the expansion spot, and hence, well, I mean, if Insomnia was actually trying to expand at this point, which maybe he was, or maybe he was checking the waters whether he could, but at this point, because there was this peon, Insomnia knows that Ciara knows that that he checked the expansion spot, and hence, well, it's kind of riskier. Right now, another skirmish, and there's 4 spellbreakers hitting on a TC, which is very, very good for the human player. And so the first thing to do is to back off the TC, get into position to do a shockwave, and of course, in the meantime, dispel all those summons. And that shockwave was not the best one, and he's losing a lot of units, and the TC is very low because of repetitive bolts from the MK. And the MK, of course, again invisible, which is something that Insomnia does really well in all of his games. And now comes like one of the worst nightmares of Orc against Human, which is you have to run away, you don't have a speed scroll, and you don't have a TP. Luckily for him, the Mountain King was out in front, and he's able to ensnare it and take it down, which at this stage is really, really amazing. I mean, it's like otherwise he could have like pretty much lost his whole army. So right here, in order to get the TC out, he uses Spirit Link on the TC so that he will take a lot less damage. He sends out his wolves and a grunt, which was low anyways, to like sort of block the army of Insomnia, and so he gets his TC out. So losing that grunt there was a trade-off with respect to losing the TC, which would have been much, much worse, of course. One thing that the human player usually does at this point is retrain the Archmage to Blizzard, so that he will be able to use Blizzard on all of the casters. But then again, this is why Raiders are also useful at this stage of the game, because it will help you counter Blizzard by just ensnaring the Archmage. And now comes the reverse. Well, Insomnia only has 1 hero at this stage, and he's losing quite a lot of units because they get ensnared, and Spellbreakers take extra damage from grunts, which is actually the reason why Ciara is continuing to make grunts at this stage. And so he's losing a lot of Spellbreakers, and the battle turns, and Insomnia has to run away. But here comes the Ensnare, which is what the Orc's way of like telling other people, well, don't just run away from battle, you have to TP. And yeah. So, of course, in the meantime, Ciara was busy like putting down his expansion, adding peons to it and everything, and so the small advantage which he had at one point after one fight, he used that to consolidate the whole game and put down the expansion. Of course, it helps that Insomnia was kind of unsuspecting and hasn't really thought that there was an expansion from Ciara at this point. Especially since, I mean, it's only a 2-player map, so, and there's only 2 possible expansion spots, which is like 1 close to your own mine only, and so it's really not that hard to scout out. And Ciara is preparing himself to make a push, and he's also, of course, using the wolf to scout, and the wolf gets intercepted, the Archmage gets to level 6, which is always nasty. And Insomnia uses this pretty well by using a sorceress, making it invisible, and sending it to scout for expansions and stuff. Here, I guess Sierra was trying to ensnare. No, or actually, I don't know. Maybe he didn't realize that the Archmage was level 6 yet, which is why he ensnared units instead of ensnaring the Archmage itself, because that's what he would have needed to do. And of course, Insomnia using the ultimate to get to the expansion quickly, and there Sierra luckily bought a TP before, and he's able to save his expansion, which at this stage where the main mines run out is really, really important. TP right on top of his of Insomnia's units, which is very good because well, the Orc player doesn't really have a lot of units which are very vulnerable and have low HP, but the human player does, and the human player has all these priests and sorceresses which take a lot of damage from chain wave, and they don't have a lot of HP and so on. And so TPing on top of a human player is pretty good. Right here, everything seems lost for Sierra. He has lost his Farseer, so in an ultimate effort, he buys all the mercs he can, and this is actually going to help him to change the game. The Archmage has to back off, it's really low, and the TC is very close to level 6, but it's also very low in health. The Archmage made one step too far, and it gets a chain wave, and a TC gets to level 6. And of course, well, Insomnia realizes that he'll have to kill the TC twice, and he has a lot less units, and of course he doesn't have an expansion where Sierra had, and this game was pretty much lost. So, well, this was this replay. So, what do we learn from this? Well, first of all, the first thing was that Sierra was actually looking for Insomnia at the start. I mean, he crept a small camp, and then he was looking for a creep check, or looking to at least disturb him, or like do something against a fast expansion or something like that. And hence, at the point where he arrived at the expansion spot, didn't find Insomnia, he used this time to creep the expansion himself, because, well, he couldn't afford to lose much more time just looking for Insomnia. Second thing was that at the start of Tier 2, well, Sierra was actually harassing at Insomnia's base, and he was there the whole time. I mean, let's say like from 75% to 100% of Tier 2 tech, in order to disturb the human when the human player tries to put up a shop, and when the human player tries to put up his Tier 2 buildings. So this can be really important, because if you manage to disturb the human player, then the Orc player is gonna have time himself to put up his own Tier 2 buildings, and not have this devastating Tier 2 push that usually happens in this matchup. Of course, you're gonna tell me that Insomnia chose the Marten King instead of the Beastmaster, because actually what Insomnia could have done is, after creeping the mercenary camp, just go down to the tavern, pick up a Beastmaster, and do a push himself, which would have just like made Sierra TP to his own base, and would have like made it into a completely normal like Orc versus human game. So it does actually play a bit the fact that Insomnia got an MK as a second hero. And well, yeah, the other thing is that even if you start with the 2 Spirit Lodges, which is a very good strat, which I can only approve of, and I mean, like there's a lot of different styles. There's going Spirit Walkers, there's going Shamans. Of course, Shamans is better against Archmage Beastmaster, because you will be able to purge those summons early on, and hence not get overpowered early on. Because well, with the Spirit Walkers, first of all you have to research Adept form, and then you will have one whatchamacallit, Spirit Walker only, and he won't have enough mana to like dispel much really, and hence the tier 2 push is still gonna like be really difficult. So against Mountain King, it's like Spirit Walkers are more of a viable option than against Beastmaster. And the other thing, very important, is that well, let's say around when you're ready to get over 50 food, and around when you think that the UN player is at like 45-50 as well, you need to put down a bestiary. You really have to. I mean, this is like, there's pretty much no way around it, because if you don't, well, the human has like so many options. He can go tier 3, go air. He can go, for example, mass spellbreakers, and well, I mean, what are you going to do with your Spirit Walkers against spellbreakers? And nothing much. And hence you're going to need raiders and all that kind of good stuff. So you really need a bestiary still, even if you go dual Spirit Lodges from the start at tier 2. Of course, there's this like completely different strat, which is to go dual barracks and grunts and catapults, but I mean, that's already kind of old. Well, I think I'm gonna like stop rambling about this, and I'm just gonna say goodbye to you guys, and I hope you guys liked this replay as much as I liked commenting on it. So, see you guys next time.